from mom.
Alright. I think naririnig naman ako ngayon. Hopefully. Pero, we never know. Mic test. Who is Mike? I don't know. Okay.
Oh, we used to have a friend named Mike on this. So.
Yeah, that's true.
We still have a friend named
Mike. Grabe si
But
Son.
he's not on this.
Yeah, okay.
So, okay.
Hey guys, my name is John and this is the Level Up Geek Night podcast. Say hi guys. Hi. Hello.
Hi guys.
Hello.
And of course, you're with me, the Christian Geek, John. Hey, John. And
John.
I have another John with me, our boss man, who's drinking wine. Joke. He's just gulaman. Fake wine.
Solidified wine. Fake wine. Gulaman. Sweet. Super.
The boss man, John. We also have our branding expert. Wow, no.
Yikes.
Branding and what's your
branded
You've been
extrovert.
branded.
Professional.
Our consultant joke.
Our professional consultant. Yeah.
Professional.
And of course,
We'll
we can't
workshop
forget, our lovable one, our very lovable. Yes, lovable.
Yeah.
Yo, joke lang.
Lovable the geek.
Our lovable geek, the
Sad.
geeks, vlogger, content creator, all around nice guy.
Pro Pokemon TCG. Player.
All around geek.
Pro Pokemon TCG player,
Pokemon master, referee.
Pokemon master and referee. Yeah, woohoo! Grabbing hype.
I mean hype eh. And then you just don't say his name, no. You know.
Of course, it's Vince House and
It's Vince. How.
how the Carabao. Say hi, Vince.
Hi Vince.
Pagbigyan niya po natin, medyo ano pa daw siya, groggy, kakagising lang.
Yeah,
We Snorlax awakened him.
Yeah. Galing din sa I mean, I actually had antihistamines today, so...
Oh, yes. That will make you groggy. Definitely.
Naisip ko biglang you had an antihistamine.
Aha!
Okay, never mind. Puns aside, what do we have for tonight?
That's a very good question, John. Maganda ang discussion for tonight. The discussion is really going to talk about heroes. Wow, heroes. We're talking about the 2000s TV series. No, just kidding.
Speaking of the 2000 TV series, you know there is an initiative to relaunch that show.
Gosh.
Yeah, the remake's gonna happen though.
They actually did reboot-ish and nobody watched it. If I'm not mistaken. Pero we'll see. We'll see. So
Right.
but basically today we're gonna talk about heroes. We're gonna talk about protagonists. Why we need heroes and why is there such
What
a
is a
fascination of heroes? Do we really need heroes? And what makes up a real hero? Sino ba? Sino ba?
Tsaka throwing in.
Sorry.
Throwing in also, what kind of heroes do we have today?
Yeah. So we have heroes, we have anti-heroes, we have villains turned heroes. So we'll
We
see.
have Magnetos.
Wow. Jumping right in, Ra.
We have a lot of things.
So where do we begin, John? Ano ba ang gusto nating alamin about heroes tonight?
Well, you know me, I'm super systematic
Mm-hmm.
and nerdy. So, I always start with, please define what is a hero. Oof.
I need a hero. Simulan natin kay Vel. Since si Vel ang nag-suggest ng topic na to for tonight.
Ako pala yung nag-suggest.
Yes,
actually.
Ikaw actually nag-suggest.
Which we were like, oh, it's a good idea. Let's go with it.
Guys, okay, verbatim. Ano lang. I picked it up from the chat. And then I just wrote an outline. So, I guess, before we talk about our own definition of hero, maybe let's give the Oxford Dictionary, Merriam-Webster Dictionary
Oxford. I like it.
definition.
Yeah,
Okay.
go.
So, according to the dictionaries, a hero is a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. But also, it can be a mythological or legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, and one who shows great courage. So those are
There are
Oh,
the
lots
that's
of
right.
textbook
there are lots of
definitions.
kinds of heroes. Yes.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, riding along with that, yung um, these are figures who embodies another one is like a culture hero who embodies the culture of a particular society, who has founded or shaped that society or community. So there are lots of these things. But yes,
Hmm.
Siguro I think we have because how do I put it? Because of the number of years of history that we have, nagkaroon na talaga ng maraming definitions for what a hero really is. And I think that's why it's also good to identify, aside from the Webster Dictionary, is alamin ba natin what does a hero mean to us? Kasi it
Yeah.
can actually mean very different things to very different people.
Hmm.
So who would like to first define what kind of hero they have? Or what does hero mean to them? Simulan natin kay Vince para magising-gising si Vince. Hi, Vince.
oo nga eh.
Ano ba? For me, a hero is one that exemplifies uh, truth, honor, and the American way. Hindi, joke lang.
Wow!
Truth, honor, and justice.
Super
No,
ba?
no,
Truth,
no.
justice, and the American way.
That's the old definition of a hero based on comics. But yeah, ako kasi I think yung classification ko of what a hero is someone who is not afraid to go against what's ano yung term? Someone who is not afraid to go against what's
The grain.
sorry,
Yeah.
wait. Ayun. A hero is someone who goes against the social status. Just who goes against the social status because he believes that the social status is not right.
Mm.
Who is not afraid, a person who is not afraid to go against what the norms of society kasi nga parang kasi ito yung nangyayari sa mundo natin. So, might as well follow it na lang. Kasi kung hindi, kakainin ka ng buhay ng society. Yung that kind of thing.
Mm.
So, parang for me, I think that's my best definition of what a hero is. Kasi nga, hindi madaling mag-go against sa norms ng society. Lalo na if you're someone who is used to working within that paradigm or something. Paradigm talaga, seryoso.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, paradigm.
Paradigm.
I
Yeah.
know, right?
Yes. This podcast is now officially college level.
Hindi na siya friendly.
Nawala yung pagkabata.
Oh my. Well, See, I think I can go next. So,
I do like to comment lang na I love that Vince's meaning of a hero is someone who is, how do I say it, a rebel with a cause.
rebel without
Yan,
claw.
James Dean, is that you?
No, but with a cause, hindi naman without. So, yung kumbaga parang wala kas maka-aktivista. Almost ang dating. But
Well, some heroes share qualities with activists.
yes, that's true naman.
So,
Alright. Go, John.
why don't you take it away since you got rolling?
Para sa akin, I guess, my definition of a hero that is someone who is symbolic, someone who gives hope, someone who is someone people look up to, na parang when things are wrong or things are not going a certain way, they can look up to this person who will be the one to save them or be the one to give them that bit of strength to fight on or to carry on. I guess that's why I'm attracted to heroes that tend to be Boy Scouts, no? So like Superman, Captain America. Maybe because of that idea of that symbolism of hope, no? And parang I see this hero, I think even if the world is a bad place, I feel it's a little bit better because of this hero. And I think that parang in times of trouble, they will either save me or give me that courage to press on, yung ganon. So for me, that's that kind of hero that comes to mind.
Mm. Okay. So aspirational. Yeah. Um I guess I'm not too far off from that. Sa akin yun nga. A hero would be someone who embodies or displays yung mga qualities or virtues um that we like, that we aspire to, or that we can draw inspiration or hope from. So yeah, I guess that's how it is for me. Um so yun. Well,
Mm.
yeah, yun nga. So I guess yeah, I am also drawn to the stereotypical heroes. But at the same time, I also appreciate yung mga quote unquote modern heroes who are more about like um not just your knight in shining armor types, but
Mm-hmm.
also like the kind of battered soldier getting the job done types. So, although I always like heroes who have the right heart,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, yun lang. Naisip ko. Hmm, 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 hmm.
Yep. Ikaw, Vel.
A hero to me.
Yes.
Siguro yung typical shonen trope.
Oh, okay.
Kasi like I like underdog type stories and
Yeah,
then they
yeah.
become like I mean perfect example would be like My Hero Academia with Deku, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Parang he just wanted to be a hero, like he didn't have what it took to be one, and yet even with what he can do, he still did something.
Mm.
So parang I think to me like that's I guess my type of hero.
You
But
like the
also like
underdogs, yeah.
yeah, but also ano din, I think a huge part of being a hero to me means bringing justice also. So, ayun, parang I think a hero is someone who has a good grasp of like what's good and what's bad, and then yeah.
Hmm. I like that because that kind of helps us segue into like what kind of heroes do you see nowadays? In
Mm.
reality, in media, in the stories that we like in our childhood or in current stories. So what are the heroes that we're seeing today?
I think to answer that question, I think it's an interesting evolution eh. When in the past, parang our heroes always tend to be cut and dry, that they are heroes, clear siya, that they're here to save the day. Mighty Mouse.
Mm.
Sorry. Pumasok
Here
yung
I come
here
to
he comes.
save the
Here I
day.
am to
Exactly.
save the day.
But basically, that's the point of heroes in the past. Now, kasi parang heroes have become more complex, and I think that talks about how good storytelling is as well. But at the same time, it also talks about the culture and society that we have today. Na parang
Mm.
people are not just ready to accept a hero that's just all good. All parang gusto nila na parang may troubled past or yung relatable siya, ganun. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing parang in terms of storytelling, but at the same time parang ako in certain cases sometimes they're trying to mold heroes too much to their image, na parang it loses its kind of parang what is a hero in the first place. Parang ganon. In certain cases, not all cases. But ganon yung
Mhm.
pakiramdam ko sometimes. Parang medyo namamadi siya.
Yeah, because for you, a hero is someone who gives you something to aspire to.
Yes.
So, which is why parang that's why it feels like it's lost some of its essence.
Yes.
Nawala
Yes.
yung aspirational aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. Well, what do you guys think about current trends in hero stories? Or
Nawawala na yung ano eh. Nawawala na yung I think I understand where JB is coming from. Lalo na yung favorite niya kasi yung mga Boy Scouts, which I actually don't like. I
Yeah.
actually do not like Boy Scouts. So parang dumadami yung story, yung mga at least in Western popular media, nawawala yung trend ng mga Boy Scouts as the main protagonist or heroes in the story. Example, The Boys. Isa sa mga hit
I was
season
I
hero
was
TV
thinking
show.
that, like, exactly that.
Diba? Iba
Right.
yung ano eh.
it takes the
The
trope
Boys
and
and
spins it.
yung
Yeah.
yeah, kasi so yung The Boys and yung spin-off nila na si V compound yung university. Kasi parang at least in the US or in the Western media, they don't like they don't like yung mga pretty boys na good boys. Pero
Hmm.
what they want is yung characters that are hindi naman dirty but more of have more character because they're yun nga sabi ni JB, they have more nuances.
Nuances, yeah.
Pero at the same time, hindi lang silang cut and dry na good boys eh. Kasi if you medyo spoiler siya. Hindi naman medyo. Parang si Butcher kasi yung main POV character natin sa siya na yung main POV
Boys.
character.
Mm.
He skirts around the white and the dark areas of a storyline. So he is more of a gray character rather than
He's not a typical hero. He's
an
actually
anti-hero
an
kasi.
anti-hero,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's an anti-hero. Agree.
Tapos yung isa pa kasi ulitin ko naman galing from the West, yung isa na namang sikat, yung Invincible. Isa
Right.
pa yun. Yung main POV character which is the son of a Viltrumite. Wow na. Yes,
Wow.
hindi ko na
Yes.
sinabi yun.
Wow.
Right.
Lalim
The son of
na.
a Viltrumite is the good guy. As in he grew up he grew up talaga loving the fact that he wants to uphold the truth, freedom and the American way because he's American, so I can say that. Pero kasi yung dad niya naman yung kalaban niya. Na parang So I like it in a sense that he's kind of Superman, but also he has the nuances of having a father who is not, and he's
A good
supposed to be
father. He's not exactly a good dad.
I mean,
He's a complicated.
He
He's complicated.
was until things change when the Fire Nation attacked. And yun nga, parang, alam mo yun, they
Basta.
wanted more than just the
Daming
usual cut and dry.
references.
So, and I think that's where at least Western is.
I think
Kaya yung Eastern naman iba eh.
iba. I agree with Vince. And like I said, hindi naman siya bad thing yung nuances niya, especially with more character. Kasi even if you look at the stories of Superman and Captain America, they're no longer cut and dry. There are certain they now have like their own challenges. They have their own issues. Excuse me. So parang I think it's okay that there's relatable. I think yung namamadi lang na part is, I think, and I'm sorry to say this, is that certain times heroes have become, in my opinion, too woke. Yun yung I think yung issue
X-Men?
ko. Ay.
Sorry, hindi pa X-Men. Hindi pa X-Men. Sorry.
Actually, it's not woke. Feeling lang ng mga tao woke siya.
Yeah, X-Men's always been that way. But anyhow.
Yeah.
But yun yung point ko. Kasi parang like, parang what I hate about like parang characters, established characters na suddenly retcon may ganito na silang parang ako, where did that come from? Parang sa mabisa feeling mo yung out of the left field, or yung mga characters like
But the left field is right.
I mean, like we had this discussion nga with Gio the other time na parang redheads tend to be the ones sacrificed in the name of diversity. So yung redheads biglang black person na sila, biglang Latina na sila, biglang parang where did all the
That's hilarious.
But that's really that's really the trend right now, no? With superheroes. So, with not just superheroes, any character, redheads become suddenly another character for the sake of diversity.
Well, this is more common in American media, just to specify. So this is not the case in Eastern media.
Eastern
What-
media, yun yung I was going
So,
towards.
basically,
I want to
yeah.
say that
Yeah.
even in anime, though, like you can kind of see it. I mean, it's not like the exact replica of what they're doing in the West. I think like a really good example would be like, although it's not hero talaga, but again, like typical shonen trope, right?
Mm.
Chainsaw Man, I want to say, like he's not bad, but he's also not.
Good.
I don't know, like
Yeah.
good. Na parang like what drives him to do things isn't a typical hero's
Yeah.
motivation in doing hero work, basically.
Yeah. I think agree ako dun. Na parang even in Eastern media, there are influences of that now. No? Although,
Depends kasi on It
I
depends
would
talaga sa...
Oh.
It depends talaga on the material. But
Yeah.
actually, oo, kasi yung Fate Zero rin, ganyan.
I would say actually that it doesn't feel as strange in Eastern media, because I feel like that the anti-hero trend has actually long been in Eastern media.
that's also true.
Like,
yeah, that's
That-
also
that's
so
not-
it doesn't feel as strange because yung mga ganun. For example, Chinese literature, Sun Wukong is definitely not a standard hero. He's
Yeah, he's
messy,
an
he's
anti-hero.
chaotic, he's an anti-hero who learns to mature.
true. Agree ako
But-
dyan.
Parang Loki.
Yeah. No, I agree. Kasi like,
Oo nga, no?
if you look at like one of my favorite group of artists, Clamp, for example.
Wow, clamp!
Yes.
Wow,
Okay,
Clamp.
Sorry.
No,
Very long limbs.
But if you look at Clamp's characters, meron mga characters doon na parang in one series they're the enemy, and then in another na dumalik sila, they're no longer the villain. So I'm like, this is parang
It's
ganon. May
because
tendency talaga. It's actually always been there. It's, I think, something that they've always tried to explore, I guess. No, but it's just more because the audience, I guess, is also more open to it now. So mas ini-explore na siya ngayon as opposed to before.
I would like to, kasi if you're gonna use clamp, I don't think yung dating kalaban sa ibang series bigla naging kakampi in a different series fits our discussion in a sense. Kasi
No.
'di ba we're talking about yung yung villain or opponent into turning into
A hero.
But I think if we're gonna use clamp, it's better to use Chlorine sa Cardcaptor Sakura kasi yun talaga outright mukha siyang kalaban sa simula. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
'Di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi yung I think where you're coming from kasi is yung Tsubasa Chronicles, it's a multiverse thing eh.
No,
So,
I'm not even talking
but
about
if you're
Tsubasa. I'm just even talking about X.
Sino?
You can go to X. Sobrang
Oh my gosh.
X99.
Okay,
Okay, fine.
We're
Yes.
getting deep into into the clamp
Yeah,
verse
sorry.
here,
Oo nga.
which
I think,
not
we can
everyone
all
is
agree.
familiar with.
Sige, I think
Yeah,
as a
We
break,
can all
let's
agree
go.
na may fine line.
Provide context.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess just to break the let's go back to the to go back to the original topic of heroes. Let me go through the comments lang muna. Yes. So,
Oh, my comments.
yeah, si Maya is kind of agreed with me earlier about heroes being out of this world. Dati kasi kayo mga heroes, they're aliens, they're gods, they're I guess that's because of DC. DC tended to do that before eh.
Yeah.
So, sabi nga, nag-evolve na daw sila, sabi ni Maya, into relatable characters and culture, shaping them more into the image of normal people as opposed to heroes with supernatural origins. Kyle also says hi from America. And he says,
Hello.
America, what do you mean America has no issues daw?
Of course, America has no issues, Joe.
Oh, someone mentioned my favorite anime.
Which one?
Code Geass.
That's another one. That's definitely anti-hero territory.
Yeah, that's a typical. Yeah, he's the best example of an anti-hero.
But it's
In
so
anime.
good though.
Yeah,
Huh?
it is good.
Hindi kasi if we're gonna use Lelouch, I think yung sa kanya it's more he changed himself to be the lightning rod of the hate of the world. Diba? He purposely made himself the lightning rod of the hate of the world so that his sister can live in a world where there's no hate, there's no And I think he's more of not an anti-hero, he's more of a tragic hero. If you think about it. He is more of a tragic hero than anti-hero. Kasi if you look at
Parang siyang
classical
anti-hero.
literature, diba?
Oo. Parang siyang anti-hero only at the
changed-
start.
He changed himself into a tragic hero halfway after nung nangyari with what's her name? Basta yung isang sister.
Basta
Na-
yung babae.
Basta yung babae. And spoiler, guys, if you're getting spoiled with Code Geass, you should watch it. It's not our
Just watch it already.
responsibility
It's a very
It's been what, how many?
Yeah.
It's been a decade or more.
Been out for
Yeah,
almost 2
Magkakaroon na ka
decades.
ng magkakaroon na ka ng bagong
Reboot.
So, hindi na. Wala na tayong
They're
kasalanan dun sa
rebooting it?
spoiler. Yeah, they're rebooting it.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
rebooting it.
So, hindi siya reboot, it's a
Remake,
basta
remake.
whatever. Yun.
Remaster.
Yun yung siya is a good example of anti-hero turning into a tragic hero, especially after that turning point in his storyline. Hindi siya reboot, 'di ba? Continuation siya but of ongoing series. But anyway, that's a good example coming from Clamp. Ayan. Okay.
Yeah, that's another clamp story.
Yeah. So
Sige.
parang alam mo yun.
Clamp likes
no.
to have stories which look initially simple and then are just so complicated after.
Yeah, that's true.
Which also applies to their heroes
Yeah.
and
Which
their
is why,
protagonists.
I guess that's why I also bring up Clamp kasi diba sa Clamp, sa X specifically, is that you had characters where they are on opposite sides of the fight or story, and yet they could also be both considered heroes of their own right, while there are also villains na parang hindi mo na maintindihan kung villain ba talaga sila or hero, yung mga ganun ng storylines.
Because they don't seem like villains.
Yes.
Gusto mo pa magsama ka pa ng anti-heroes yung mga Maya yung mga Maya anime.
Maya anime.
Yeah, that's
Yung Maya anime, parang
It's like, okay,
na-curious
so we
ako.
have our resident chibi otaku is not currently here, but she likes a lot of shows where the heroes are someone explained.
not cut and dry. It's more of it
There's
has her favorite her anime of choice is animes that really cut you in a good way and in a bad way in a sense. Na parang you get
So,
hurt.
name the title. Name drop.
Oh, one of Maya animes is yung 86. Ano yung pinapanood niyo? Summertime Rendering,
Oh my
JB?
gosh, summertime rendering.
Yeah. That's another 86. King of Kings, Summertime Rendering. So parang
Wait, Ranking of Kings is really good though.
Yeah, it
really
is.
wholesome.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's bad, grabe siya.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's a Maya anime though. Kasi
Oh yeah, but it doesn't
when-
prove your
when I-
point. Because Ranking of Kings
No.
is super wholesome though.
super wholesome. But 86 86 yung isa.
Okay.
Kasi
Wala akong
yung main
comments sa 86.
character, yung main character kasi na 86 is kinda an anti-hero in a sense kasi uh medyo mahirap if I explain the plot here in
Is it
the
like
in the
a
show.
is it like a Tokyo
Is
Tokyo Ghoul thing?
86 like,
No.
I was gonna say Psychopaths.
Yeah, Psychopath 2 is a good example ng anti-hero. But kasi yung main yung POV character ng guy, yun yung anti-hero. Tapos yung typical goody-goody two shoes is yung girl. But then eventually, it turns into something else. Not after ng season 1.
That's true.
Yeah.
I do get a sense that I think Maya anime talaga eh. Merong
Yeah, but
may
people
tendency.
may not have a context for what a
Yeah.
Maya anime is.
But
So-
may tendency yung
Hindi,
the
hindi,
tendency-
hindi. Explain na natin yung
We need to make a content series out
in
of
one
Maya anime.
sentence. A Maya anime is an anime that it seems very, very simple at the start, but then it turns into a complicated storyline afterwards. O, ayan.
Yeah, and generally
Kasi-
speaking, it contains a character that is often the underdog.
Yeah.
Huh.
Kasi 86, ewan ko si Summertime Rendering kasi hindi ko siya napanood. But yung si
Medyo underdog din
Ranking
yun.
of Kings, okay. So sa Ranking of Kings, it seems like a simple anime. It's an anime where the storyline is simple. This is the good, this is the bad, and then suddenly it turns into wait, what? What's happening? There's the story behind everything. Parang what? That's the kind of that's the context of what a Maya anime is. So anyway, in the context of our discussion for today for the heroes, yung mga ganong klaseng heroes, lalo na the fringe, I called it the fringe.
Okay.
Kasi hindi siya yung typical falling under the shonen, typical big shonen anime like One Piece or Naruto or Boruto and Yun yung mga doon lumalabas lahat ng mga anti-heroes, yung mga nuanced characters. Kasi 'di ba sa Hero Academia, meron din 'di ba yung naman yung opposite. John, I know you mentioned it before.
Oh.
Yung mga
Yung vigilante ba yun?
Vigilantes. 'Di ba?
Yep.
Din naman yun yung pero I think this is just a manga no?
Yeah, he's just in the manga, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah,
to drive back the discussion, I guess my question for us is what is it that draws people to heroes in storylines and bakit tayo drawn towards them?
Okay,
Sa akin, more of
so
rebel.
yeah, let's start with Vel first.
Yeah.
Why
'Cause
are
we've
we
been yakking
drawn
on for a bit.
Yeah.
to
and-
that?
because even even characters that are villains that people like, there are most people like to see them in situations that they become a hero or they're the protagonist even if they know that that character is a villain. 'Di ba?
Pag dito, sorry.
Siguro
Sorry.
kasi they go through like a struggle that's very relatable and humanizes them in a way.
Yeah.
Like I wanna see Sandman. Diba? Spider-Man. Yung kasi may daughter siya.
Sa Sandman from
Sandman.
Yeah,
Sandman.
Sandman.
Oo, diba? So parang you kind of feel for him because like, may
Yeah.
anak siya eh. Like, alam mo yun? Parang,
He's
how can I
just
get mad
providing
at
for
this
her,
guy?
for his daughter.
Yeah. And then I think also like with Loki, right? Like parang you kind of realize that like okay, like after everything that he's done, like it's almost like you can forgive him because he saved the world, kind of. He saved the multiverse. Badly
he
put,
did.
guys. I'm trying to find the right words here. I told the
You're
boys
fine.
that this might not be my topic. But yeah, like parang
No, you're
you
fine.
find something in them that humanizes them and then you feel for them. So I think for me that's what makes me root for a hero or
they're not-
anti-hero, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the character. And people seem to find it more. I think that's a thing. in recent fiction and recent stories, mas lumalabas na yung concept of the villain is the hero or the
Yeah.
villain is the protagonist. Or the protagonist is
Mhm.
like some demon or some evil thing na society says
Magneto,
is
ay
not
sorry.
good.
Hindi
Ganun.
ka
Yeah,
ba
that
get
makes
over kay
Ganun.
Magneto, ah.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry. He's the best
Um,
example kasi of what we're saying right now eh.
a good example.
It is a good example. Sabi dito sa chat natin, no, um, well, marami nag-comment that, what's this? 86 is so good, Ranking of Kings is so good. And then they
Yeah.
jumped into, sabi ni Eri, she's asking about Death Note daw. And,
Yeah, Death Note is a good example of a protagonist character who is not
Who
the
touched-
hero,
who became a villain.
who became a villain,
He
who
became-
quickly
Yeah.
became
He
a
became a
villain.
villain.
hindi man lang anti-hero, sabi nga ni Alex eh. Villain talaga eh. He wasn't
Yeah.
really a hero kasi. No, parang, in the end,
He's an everyday smart guy who suddenly was given this power. Diba?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
El daw, it seems like, a weirdo hero kasi. And then, Eri was also saying about, yung mga villains that, parang you want to be heroes or parang you start to empathize with them. Like Maleficent daw.
Mm.
And I think,
Medyo okay Maleficent eh.
what?
Parang they didn't have to do it. I mean, they're adding. I mean, it's good that we're getting more content. So parang I don't like where Disney is like adding more character to their villains. Well, that's just me.
They
Yeah.
have to. Like,
Yeah, but-
business-wise, guys, kailangan lang hanapan ng
Yeah,
way
yeah.
para ma-revive
But I
yung
get it.
property.
I like Maleficent, but the problem is, for me, is that after Maleficent, so lahat na ng villains, gagawa natin ng backstory and magiging sympathetic.
Yeah.
Why can't villains just be villains? I mean, there are villains that are just villains
Yeah.
talaga. Diba?
Yeah.
Parang
Mm.
biglang lahat kailangan
Agree.
sympathetic sila.
Lahat dapat may backstory na sobrang lalim.
These are the things that woke culture has ruined for me.
Totoo naman. I think that's true.
Kasi
Sorry, not sorry.
lalo not on storylines that doesn't open up for nuanced storytelling. If I would accept sana if those are storylines that that open up to that kind of storytelling. Again, I'm going to say my boy Magneto. Kasi even before, kasi hindi na siya outright kalaban eh.
Yeah.
Parang there were already hints in the storyline within the series that he was part of. Hindi pa to comics, hindi pa to yung movies, but the animated series that show that there is actual nuance to his villainy.
Yeah.
And
There's always
for example, si Maleficent, diba si Maleficent wala naman eh. I mean, yung mga kalaban sa Disney mga Disney princesses don't have those kinds of nuanced storytelling. Maybe si
But actually,
what's her
if we're
name
gonna talk
sa
about Disney
Little Mermaid,
that wrote backstories where some characters remain villains and some characters redeem themselves, I would say Once Upon a Time, if you ever follow that series.
Oh,
Which
is it ba? Is it backed by Is
it's
it backed by Disney?
it is because it's under ABC.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay, fine. Go.
So
Anyhow.
Go.
my point there,
Background.
going back lang is that if for those who don't know Once Upon a Time is a TV series that put a premise, what if the fairy tale characters that we know and love are actually true, no, they're real people and they're real stories. And so they propose this character that parang, and at the beginning of the series, you had characters like Rumpelstiltskin, you had the evil queen from Snow White, you had Snow White and his Prince Charming and
My
everything.
gosh.
But eventually it just started introducing all the Disney nagkaroon ng I mean, even like Brave was in it, even like Frozen was in it, the characters from Frozen.
The worst season of that series is nung pumasok sila Elsa. Anyway,
I would argue it was the Camelot season, but anyway, there. So,
Mileage may
Like,
vary.
yeah, kasi in that kasi see that's nuanced
oo.
storytelling.
But there
Yung
was no
yung
one storytelling
yung
eh.
main
Binigyan mo ng backstory. And not necessarily that all the characters that were bad remain bad, but some are still
yeah,
bad. May backstory sila, pero bad talaga sila eh. Yun talaga yung story nila eh.
oo.
Diba?
Mm.
Yun yung ano eh. And yun yung I don't like. But in a sense din kasi in the ano rin na heroes, yung
Oo.
mga heroes ganyan din yung nangyayari ngayon eh. Parang I don't know kasi this one hero naman but I guess because of corporations naging kalaban. Yung sa Mission Impossible, the first one,
Mhm.
yung isa sa mga face characters kasi ng Mission Impossible is yung what's his name? Yung the one who narrates the Mission Impossible thingy.
Right.
Hindi si Ethan Hunt kasi yung face character before. It was only he became the face character ng Mission Impossible because of what's his face? Yan. But yung face character before was he was turned into a villain. He was turned into the main villain ng Mission
Mm.
Impossible 1 because they could not get the actor back. So what they did was they just tweaked the storyline na he grew tired of being part of the Impossible Mission Force and became, pera na lang
Villain.
habol ko kasi ayoko na eh. Pagod na ako eh. So
Mm.
parang yun yung this one kasi it's not because of how the story progressed, but it's because of how corporations or the work, 'di ba?
Actually, that's the same
And
thought process behind the villains of Disney movie things.
yeah,
So, but we're getting really off track again.
I
Yeah,
guess.
Not really. But
Okay, so
we're
let's
getting
go back
no,
to...
I pulled it back kasi nga
Ah.
yung we're talking about the heroes eh.
Yeah.
So parang ano mo yun, yung heroes right now has to be nuanced, has to have
They have to
certain
be
not just to be good.
relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sabi ni Kyle that as someone who comes from the metal music world, it's been really nice to reframe neutral appearing things as not intrinsically evil, or images of evil are often not biblical. I'm thinking of Paul saying demons disguise themselves as angels of light, not as scary necessarily. It's a welcome change. Sabi daw niya,
Right.
metal music imagery has been so overly demonized, regardless of the content of the music is demonic daw. So it can be frustrating. So I guess I guess this is where I think the idea din na a lot of cases na villains are the way that some villains have been represented in has always been villain sila, demon sila, ganun, parang and I guess dun yung framing nun na
Spawn.
they're not just simply they have backstories, pero ang ayoko lang
Yeah.
ng may backstory sila tapos biglang kasi they used to be good people na may may reason to become
Yeah.
villains.
Yeah.
Yun yung ayoko. Yun yung parang nakakainis na backstory. Diba?
Although
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people resonate with that though. Like, oh, it's parang the Joker movie, diba? Yung tipong, oh, he's not really a bad person.
Yeah, but
He's
actually
just
He's just
broken.
misunderstood.
but
He's
but
just
the truth is
misunderstood and then after
Oh,
But the truth is, in the Joker movie, si Joker mismo, I mean, while it was a good representation of mental health, partially anyway, at least it's talked about. Si Joker mismo in the comics, in the animated shows, etc., has always been someone who was a villain, no? Na
Yeah.
parang lalo lang siya na push towards the edge when he fell into a vat of chemicals. Typical. Diba?
are we okay,
But-
fine. I'm not gonna
But my point is, even before he fell into the vat of chemicals, he was always a villain. 'Di ba? Parang we didn't have to actually put it in a way na parang, oh, he used to be a good guy, parang ganun. Even if he used to be a good guy, he's a villain. Parang gets mo? Parang he's still a
Yeah.
villain. So ayoko lang yung ganun na sometimes na nuances na parang nagkaroon siya ng too much emphasis on humanizing, na parang we forget that he's a villain. I mean, he's still a villain at the end of the
I
day.
yeah. I think the thought behind that kasi is like, anyone, parang they're trying to flip the imagery of good and evil, right? So not just the imagery, but the concepts of like what is good, what is evil. Are you a hero? Are you a villain? Oh, it's all just relative. It's all like maybe just a bad day. So parang it's like trying to dilute the concept that there is good, there is evil.
Yeah.
And
Hindi, parang yun yung ano eh, you mentioned it, it's just a bad day, diba? That's
mm,
one of the major famous story arcs ng ano eh, ng Batman's, diba? Yung
yeah.
yung it just takes one bad day for a person to turn good, from being a good person turning into evil. I think that's one of the more storylines ng ano eh, ng yung second Batman movie na
Uh,
si Harvey. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think yun nga eh, yung he was the hero, he was the beacon of
Kuno.
Gotham.
Supposedly, yes.
Kuno, supposed to be. Parang you have the White Knight and the Dark Knight. And I think yun din yung what people are looking for right now. Kasi people right now do not, ano yun eh, do not trust, yun, ito pa yun, I think we have to get into this.
Yeah, yeah.
People right now do not trust perfect people. Perfectly outwardly people. And I think that's one of the major issues of Boy Scout heroes right now.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's why
probably like
people
there's
don't
no
like them
such
eh.
they're like kasi yeah, I guess and taking pot shots at our own subculture, like the idea of yung mga TV preachers, 'di ba? They're also squeaky
Oh
clean
yeah.
and charismatic, but they're actually trash. Well, some of them are. So there are
Yeah.
probably some actually legit preachers out there, but there's some who are like, wala, scam lang yan. There's some who've used
Mm-hmm.
good, quote unquote, religion, diba? Supposedly, religion is supposed to be, in concept, good, right? Whatever religion
Yeah.
you're supposed to be. So, pero hindi. People have used it for their own nefarious gains and
Nefarious.
self-serving reasons, right? So that's why
Lalo yung may, ano,
people
yung may,
have such low trust towards quote unquote good people. So it's which is really, if you really think about it, it's like is it is it the qualities or the virtues of what is considered good not good, or is it because people fake it, diba? So parang
yeah.
there's a reality, you have to go
I think
deeper like mm,
I also think though that it's kind of sad that we are now living in a society that we can't trust good people to be good. Alam mo yun,
Yeah.
parang we see a good person, hindi, may ano yan, may tinatago yung ano, agenda yan, or may tinatago yung ano. It's kind of sad that we live in that kind of society now. Whereas parang if it was like several decades earlier rather, parang we could parang we see a good guy, they really are a good guy, walang
It's
ah,
not
A bit.
good guy.
I
Like
also
savage.
wouldn't
Guy.
I also wouldn't
Exactly.
agree with that though. I also
but
wouldn't
no,
agree
what
with
I'm saying
I
is that
think
parang I think in a sense parang people are more jaded now and more distrustful than they used to be.
aray ha. But yes.
are people like that? I don't know. I feel
I
like
think
people
kasi
have
parang
No,
always
kasi ganito yun eh. I'm
parang
sorry, medyo
like
na,
it's like this I when people look at how Superman Clark Kent is
okay.
framed in today's culture versus how he was framed in
Okay,
earlier.
noted.
okay.
So when you look at
Okay.
Superman and Clark
Okay.
Kent before, he's a good guy. People believed he was a good guy. In
Right,
in
right,
media
right.
now, they see Clark Kent, they see Superman. Oh, there's a good guy. Is he really a good guy? Yun yung first question. Nagbago talaga yung mindset ng mga tao
That,
na how or parang in
I
general,
think
I'm not saying na
the depiction, the way it's depicted in fiction, it's a
yes, and
reflection.
because it's a reflection of society today.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Okay. Sorry, tinatapos na kita, JB. I want this is if we're going to talk about that side ng mga heroes. This is why I always preferred Captain America over Superman. Diba, I think we've had this discussion before na eh. Na parang I really don't like Superman because he's too good. Na parang he's supposed to be the beacon of good. And kaya nga diba, this is where I like the Man of Steel version of Superman than the one in the comics. And I like Captain
Mm.
America in a sense. Yes, he is a Boy Scout, pero kasi he's not a good Boy Scout eh. Hindi siya Boy Scout all throughout. Na parang he sometimes curses in the comics. Pero ano mo yun, you do know he's a good person, pero at the same time, he's not a perfect person.
Yeah.
I think yun yung argument ko in a sense where it's not about being good eh. It's about presenting a perfect front
Yeah.
when in fact you're not perfect. And I
Hmm.
think yun yung nagiging point of contention of people now, especially if they're seeing a good person.
Yeah.
Alam mo yun?
But
And I
Well,
think that's where
no,
our
yeah,
at
yeah,
least in my sense yung heroes ko
yeah.
are
I
not
get it.
perfect but they're good.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
wala akong argument with Man of Steel because I like Man of Steel too. So,
Huh? You're not a true Superman fan, sabi nga ng mga Superman fans. Anyway,
excuse me.
moving on.
Awahi ko sila.
Moving
anyway.
on.
My point lang being is that nandun na
Hmm.
talaga tayo sa society where where people parang ang judgment nila towards parang jaded ba. No, it's more people are a little bit more jaded when it comes to seeing goodness. Parang they don't trust goodness anymore. I know that no one is good, not even one, but pero yung people don't trust goodness as opposed to parang if you were to roll back decades earlier, no, parang when people are presented with good people, generally there's very little distrust that a person can be good. No, but ngayon parang if someone is presented as good, parang good ba talaga? Yun yung ang unang tanong, 'di ba? Because people
Mm.
always feel that that must be fake, it must be just social media, it must be just ganun. May ganun na assumption na right now,
Mm.
no?
Yeah, well, I guess,
I'm
and
so
that, yeah, tama naman. It comes out in the writing and the fiction of our time. Like, if you look at modern writing, we're not talking about the remade characters. Like, quote unquote, original new characters, original fiction of
yeah.
what's coming out. What are the characters like in those fictions? Like, wag tayo mag-ano kasi a little bit of backing off from Western comics, because the problem or the issue with Western comics is because they have legacy characters with legacy
Backstories.
legacies and
Problems.
legacy characterizations. So
Mhm.
there
Legacy
is a bit of
problem.
yeah, I mean kasi may certain pull and push and pull from that because of that existence eh. So let's try to look at something
The
more
newer ones.
original, quote unquote. Yung at least somewhat original.
Ako personally, I think naman, in a sense, parang we write heroes in fiction and we write characters, good, quote-unquote, good characters in fiction is because there is, despite the jadedness of society, there is also at the same time, there is still, may hope tayo, naghahanap pa rin tayo ng hope in
Mhm.
in humanity, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're looking for
Yeah.
hope in that, and that's a reflection in the writing of fictional stories, no. I look at yung definition ko nga na ba nga ng hero is someone who is aspirational, who is beacon of
Mm.
hope. And actually in anime wise, My Hero Academia yun eh. Si All Might yun eh. No? Parang yun
Yep.
yung talaga papasok sa utak ko. But we also look at how a lot of the characters in this story are also jaded by hindi ganyan ng totoong hero, parang heroes are just trash, ganun, that's how the villains look at them. But at the same time, a lot of people look towards heroes to do good. And I think it's because in us, all of us, we're also parang designed to look for the goodness in people and to look for good in the world that we live in.
Mm. Sabagay, yeah. Because like I think at the end of it, people would say that yeah, it would be nice to have a world where people are good. I don't think anyone would prefer a world where people aren't good. It's just that people in current
Hindi
context
ka
are like
sure.
people are too burned,
Grabe siya.
people are too hurt by the reality of the world, too tired, too burnt out, whatever. That That's why they come up with those kinds of reactions, right?
Yeah. On that
Yeah.
end din, kasi gusto kong bumalik kay Vel. Lalo na nung minention na si Chainsaw Man. Si Dex, ano ba pangalan ng main
Denji.
character nung
Denji.
Denji
Denji.
yun din. Sabihin ko sana Deku eh. Si Denji
Deku.
ba is Denji a good in your, at least in your perspective, a character that you'd like to say that you can support as a hero or not?
Ooh, it's a loaded question.
Go.
I
Yeah.
think his intentions are well, kasi he's just trying to pay off his dad's debt.
Uh,
However, the way that he heroes, hindi ko alam yung term. The way that he exercises being a hero
Or
isn't
or
exactly,
exercises being a super whatever.
yeah, isn't hero-like.
mhm.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
it's
a saying nga, di ba? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So parang
Yun lang.
Maybe I should actually take a look at Chainsaw Man. Manga na lang.
Yeah. Yung
Pero
mga
diba,
anyway.
go Vince.
yung kasi let's say for example, in Chainsaw Man, walang issue, it's not even the issue about if the main character, the hero is morally good. Everyone is morally
Mhm.
evil sa Chainsaw Man eh. It's just
Mm.
that ang pagiging hero nila is more, they just don't want demons to, eat people, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Diba? Yun lang yun eh. And
Actually, very
the way
practical.
diba, very practically kasi yung perspective na the agency that they belong to uses yung half human, half demons to fight against the demons.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not because they're morally good or they're good people, but because they don't want, demons to kill everyone. So
Yeah,
parang
it's very
artist-
pragmatic.
it's very pragmatic eh. That's, I think, isa yan sa mga lenses na we have to also take into account na
Mhm.
yung pagiging distrustful ng people about heroes, is it because of pragmatism or is it because yung what do you call this, yung perspective din na trying to be good as a good example. Kasi yun diba nga, yun nga sabi ni Vel na it's very low kasi hindi mo alam eh. Parang is he being good for the sake of being good, or is he doing the hero thing for the sake lang of just paying off his debts, or is that it?
Sabi ni
Diba?
sabi ni Alex daw, he's not a good example. He just has humanly dreams. Walang bahid ng hero si Denji. Denji just wants to
Yeah.
live and have a girlfriend.
That is true,
Oh,
though.
So Denji is basically our
He's a lover boy.
our working class super powered person. Hindi siya
Basically,
hero.
yeah.
He's just like, I have superpowers, but I'm not really
Skilled
a hero.
worker.
Para siyang basically siya eh, salaryman siya na
Oh.
na may
Yeah,
superpowers.
Basically.
salary
By
man
the
with
way,
superpowers.
Basically.
Diba yung the way na he got paid din is yung he was able to touch the chest of one of the female characters, diba?
Yup.
Oo.
Yung boss niya.
Okay.
Yung boss niya.
So basically, he's a protagonist because he's the POV character,
Yeah.
but he is definitely not heroic in terms of character,
Yeah.
I think
which
this
is which is something I wanted to point out.
Uh-uh.
Na
Okay, go.
there are more of these kinds of characters now where the
Now,
POV
yes.
character, the protagonist, is just basically like, oh, I'm your tired salaryman, I'm your tired everyday dude, I'm your tired whatever, it's everything is tired of this world or whatnot, and you just add like some sort of supernatural spice to it, and then yun na yung quote unquote hero mo, diba?
Yeah.
It's like, so where is that coming from?
Okay. I have a question though. I think to just to pivot and as we parang get into the meat of this discussion lang.
Yes.
Do we need heroes though? As a society, as people, I mean, even even in the stories that we read, Are heroes really that important?
Wow. Ika nga,
That's a good
Bel, that's a
question.
very
Are
loaded
heroes
question.
important?
Are they needed and are they important? Those are two different questions.
Yeah, that's true. Those are two different questions.
and
Ayoko
then
na,
there
mamaya
was
na, ako na,
and then there was
mamaya na ako
silence.
magsasalita. I need you guys to talk first kasi kung di kakainit yung oras.
Can I answer?
Damn.
But I think it's kind of controversial.
Yeah,
Yes,
go for
go.
it.
Are they needed? I want to say no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we necessarily need like a hero, but are they important? Yes. Kasi I think no, like everyone has the capacity to be a hero. You don't have to be a hero. You can, but parang it's important in a way na parang kasi diba it always starts with one person deciding to,
Uh-huh.
I wanna do inherent good to the world. And, like if that one person mag-ripple effect yung ginagawa niya, then in a sense, and everyone can be a hero. We can make something out of our dysfunctional society, so to speak.
Okay.
So parang needed, not necessarily important. I think yes.
Interesting. It's an
Sorry,
interesting
guys.
thing. I know. Controversial. Canceler. Joke lang.
Oh
Grabe.
my, please
Actually,
don't cancel me.
here's the thing. Vel's thought is actually, I feel, is the prevailing thought of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Like the more positive, non-Christian, worldly thought process is that yes, you don't need a special hero. You are the hero. So it's a very humanistic point of view, which makes mankind the hero of its own fate. Right? Because that's essentially what Vel is saying. Mankind itself is the hero of its own fate. And that's a very nice thing to look at. But the reality is, let's look at mankind. We are not capable of that much good. So, as much as I'd like to agree that we can do something good in this world, and we can, because, diba, even coming from the Christian point of view, that's what we're supposed to do, ba? That's what we are supposed to do, diba? Like, as Christians, we are supposed to do good. And we are supposed to be that ripple effect blessing. Yun lang, do we are in of ourselves have that much capacity to be that self-sacrificing and that loving and that compassionate and that caring, etc. That
I
is
have
that's the cruise of the matter.
yeah. Sorry, I have a question. Are we going to react to what Vel said, or are we going to share our perspective? Question. There's not
No,
a
no,
lot. I'm just
that's
asking
my
lang.
reaction
Pwede
to what Val
naman
said.
both, guys. Pwede
Hindi,
naman
kaya nga
both.
eh. Yeah.
That
Pero
also
ano lang,
that also taps into my answer.
your
Sige, I'll combo
mm,
it. That also taps into my
yeah, go.
answer. So, are heroes important? Yes. Are they necessary? I would say yes, but I'd need to
There's a caveat to that.
explain. There's a caveat to that
Specify.
as to why. So obviously, being a
Mm-mm.
Christian, yes. Oh wow, my answer is gonna be Jesus. Wow, surprise. But
Actually,
the
sinabi rin
point,
ni Eri sa ano eh. Sa...
At ni Alex.
Ni Alex
Eri
sa ano,
Alex.
diba? Sa ano.
uh,
Na we do need a hero. No? And it's Jesus. And
yeah,
putting it into that context.
of course.
Mhm.
So the reasoning for that kasi is because we need it also taps into what Vince said, the distrust of people. Nobody's really that good. Everyone is got some kind of agenda, etc. It's like, can there really be a perfect person? Diba? Because no one is really perfect.
Not even one.
Well, and I would posit the idea that the reason why a lot of people don't like perfect people is two-way. One is because they don't like how perfect people make us feel, and two, you've been hurt by a perfect person who actually wasn't perfect at pala after all. So it's two-way. So it's both. That's my thinking. So but however, if there was actually a perfect person, and as part and the thing is we wouldn't meet that perfect person in this life because well, there's no one perfect. No person that's perfect. And the only perfect person, theologically speaking, is Jesus, meaning he's perfect in a real way. Not perfect in a annoying conceptual way. Because I think that might be why Vince would be like, or people of similar thought patterns to Vince, like, you don't want perfect people like Superman because they don't feel like they earned that perfectness or something like that. I don't know. There's a better way to explain it. It's like they don't have that
They
weight
don't
to their
the
perfectness.
position, the moral high ground is the moral high ground they have isn't earned.
It doesn't feel
Well, for
earned.
me,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't feel earned.
I will
However,
argue with that, but anyway.
yeah, of
At least
course,
for
yes.
Superman.
For Superman, okay. Vince doesn't have. We're not gonna deep dive into that. We can discuss that off air. Um,
Yeah, but
that
anyway,
said,
moving on.
in this case, it in the context of Christ, it's earned.
Definitely.
Kasi he suffered through everything that humanity had to throw at him. Like all your
Mm.
typical bad traits. Ano bang mga bad traits ng tao? Pinakstab ka, chismisan ka, trinaydor ka. Ano pa ba?
Pinalo
What are
ka ng
other
whip.
things? Like, you suffered because of your friends? Yes. You suffered because of your family? Yes. Ano pa bang usual things?
Pinalo ka ng whip.
Pinalo ka, 'di ba? Physically abused, mentally abused, emotionally abused, relationally abused, lahat ng abuses tinoffer din niya. O sige, ano pa bang kulang? He had really a tough job. Physical labor, mental labor, emotional labor, what else? Oh, you pulled a 24-hour shift, he's pulled 72-hour shifts. He's pulled a 40-day shift. There you go, talo ka na naman, 'di ba? So parang lahat ng mga pina all of the things that modern society complains about and says, "Oh, we're tired because we're living this way." He's gone through it, and yet he still sacrifices and loves us. So that's why the only kind of hero you need is someone who is like that. He's perfect, but he's earned it. Because a perfect character that hasn't earned it is just a Mary Sue.
True. True. True.
So,
True.
talking about fiction, kasi 'di ba, fiction naman ang ano natin.
Yeah.
So, sorry kung inubos ko lahat, pero yun ang
Hindi, hindi, go lang.
that is my big thought for like that's why I like
Nintay ko lang
heroes.
si JB.
That's why I like heroes who are still good, but who have earned their I guess you could say earned or proved their goodness in hardship.
Mm, mm.
Because that's where you prove that you're really good. When the chips are down, when things are tough, good ka ba talaga or are you just
It's all for
yeah,
show.
yeah, is it all for show? Is it just skin deep or does it really go to your bones? 'Di ba?
Mhm.
Dun makikita kung totoo or hindi, basically. And I think that's what we're looking for in our characters. That reality, that parang what's the word for it? Yung reality. Something, what's another term for that? Um Genuineness. That that weight to it, significant na ito yung totoo. Diba?
Yeah. I think no, parang
Anyway,
Sige, signing off. Go.
signing off. No, I think lang din na to answer the question whether they're important and are they necessary. I think definitely heroes are important, in a way that they show us the kind of character that most of us aspire to have or aspire to be. And parang I think that's not really a bad thing. No, I think innately as human beings we aspire to be better. I think that's how we've been designed by the Lord. And so parang and that is a reflection yung writings that show us heroes, and it doesn't have to be supernatural heroes. It can be like heroes of a story where they're an
Mm.
underdog and they rise from the ashes, no, so to speak, no, into something greater. And that's yun yung I think meron talagang uh, desire for us to be the same way, no. Parang ako personally, I connect with stories where we have a character who is at the start parang underdog din, no, yung tipong underdog, and parang as you see them grow in their walk, in their life, and parang you see how they actually become better people. And so parang I think all of us have that kind of desire deep in our hearts. And I think with to answer the question, are they necessary? It's a yes or no. Yes and no. No, because yes, because yun nga, kailangan natin nung models in our lives that we should follow, that we should aspire to. But at the same time no, because I think in a sense na parang apart from God, apart from Jesus, we don't need these heroes. No, because the only perfect hero that we should really be aspiring to is Jesus Christ. I think that's the talaga at the end of the day, yun eh, na parang, and I think it is ingrained in our lives, na parang sobrang deep seated in our lives that we do need a hero. And that's why we produce stories about heroes, is because we ourselves need saving, no?
As much as we may not like to admit it.
As much as we don't want to admit it, and sometimes in many cases some people say, I'm a good person naman, okay naman ako sa buhay ko, I don't need saving. But the truth is we all do, no? Because all of us have sinned, all of us are actually
fallen short.
'Di ba nga, parang we have fallen short of God's glory. So in that regard, lahat tayo, we're damned to hell eh. So kailangan natin ng salvation, kailangan natin ng savior, kailangan natin ng hero. And I think in that regard, I think that's why a lot of the stories we write about, and a lot of the characters have these hero elements or hero attributes, is because these are the things that we look towards a savior in our lives eh. No, parang when we look at straight out heroes, yun yung characters. And when we look at villains who become heroes, it's because part of us also understand the desire and the need for redemption. 'Di ba? Lahat tayo kailangan din ng redemption. And so parang nakikita natin 'yun. And yun, again, I guess for me, who is a hero? Do we need a hero? No, parang all of these questions just point back to one truth, which is that Jesus is our ultimate hero. And I thank you. Welcome to my TED Talk. Joke lang.
Yes, sir.
So yun. Any other thoughts, guys?
Ako hindi pa ako nag-isa.
Can I just clarify my no, pero una mo na si Vince.
Sige, go Vince.
Okay, go.
Number one, and this is coming from me, and I think if you actually know me, you would see na the answer I'm saying makes sense for my character. Do we need heroes? Yes. Are they necessary? Yes. Why? Number one, aside from the typical yung binibigyan nyo na yeah, Jesus Christ is supposed to be our hero, and yeah, that's all said and good.
Mm-hmm.
That's where kasi we're Christians, so that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we need heroes? Because we need people to show us how to be Christ-like in certain situations.
Right.
Diba parang if you're saying you don't need heroes, then we don't need people who exemplified Christ-likeness in the time of slavery.
Right.
Diba? Who were the people who pushed for equality? Equality in the sense of races.
Right.
It was Christians.
Yeah.
It was people who were the first nurses. They were Christians.
Yeah.
They're the heroes that so parang at least on my end, it's still needed lalo na ngayon. Dahil people have been too focused on their inner struggles, on their inner problems, that they don't see anything above it. And I think this is where it's sad to say, but also at the same time, it's a good way to remind us that we need people's, at least someone like All Might in a sense. Kasi if we're down, if we're in our darkest times, if we don't have heroes that we can look up to, di mamamatay tayo. Kahit sabihin mo Christ-like ka, kahit sabihin mo you're following the Lord, dahil kahit sabihin mo yung following all the teachings of God, if we don't have someone to look up to, then we're going to drown.
Mm.
And yun yung ano eh. Yun yung I think for me, this is kaya nga I still enjoy watching yung mga Kamen Riders. I still enjoy watching yung mga hero movies kasi there are people who wants to go against the mold of what society has told us and be exemplary examples of this is virtues eh. Kahit na ako, I am one of those people who distrust, who don't look at it. I'm a person who wants to have someone to look up to because I want to be hopeful in this world.
Yeah,
Mhm.
agree.
And I think this is, are they needed? Yes. And this is where I'm coming from. Na parang, you can say everything. Kasi, ano yan eh. Also, nakikita mo rin yan sa, mga bata ngayon. Kabataan ngayon. Parang, bakit ko na, eto, sinagot sa akin to ng yung examples natin sa Bible, si Elijah.
Yeah.
But that's Elijah. I'm not Elijah. I'm no one. I'm just a follower of Christ. I'm not Elijah. So they don't see the connect eh. And if they have someone, hindi naman kailangan sobrang ano yung term? Hindi naman kailangan sobrang stalwart of na Brom type na can shield everything. But it's just small people who show others that there's the better way. And
So
it's not
people like Timo. Joke lang.
yeah, but diba, it
love
doesn't
Timo.
have to be it doesn't have to be big things. But even in the small things that we can be good examples for. And I think this is where ako at least want to say that heroes are still needed more than ever.
Yeah.
Are they important? Yes too. And I think that's where I'm going to close lang. Alam ko medyo naging intense ako. Pero
No.
yeah.
You're all good. I agree. Kasi, in this case, heroes are like, these are, in real heroes, are people you look up to. Kasi, it's like this. Ano yan? Diba, we've learned that everyone in this world, there's something that they worship. There's something they idolize. It's a tendency of people. They look to something, they aim for something, mga ganon. Which includes model and role model figures, right? They'll look for mentors, they look for mga special characters, di ba? That's why they have mga basketball player, I'm sure. Like, sino ba yung GOAT? Di ba? Greatest of all time. Yun, idol ko yan. Yung mga ganon. There will always be that kind of concept. So, talagang may how do you put it? There will always be that hero worship thing, even if to phrase it that way. So it's a question of what are the kinds of heroes that we have accessible to us, diba? And there should be heroes who are of the right nature, who are accessible to us. So yun lang.
Yeah, sorry, biglang naging intense. I'm sorry.
No,
Anyway.
riding along with that. Kasi naging intense din ako kanina. So, we all are intense in our different ways.
Only.
For all intents and purposes. And
Yeah.
okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
John,
Vel, you had a comment too.
Clarification.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
like I think no, just to like kind of I mean I agree with what everyone said, guys. Just so you know.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify, like I think when I said no, what I was thinking of talaga is the like how we define the hero kanina, like someone who has
Right.
superpowers, someone in a spandex suit. Like I say no,
Okay.
meaning we don't need
That
that.
kind of superhero.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Gets
Oo,
naman.
na parang they don't have to be anything special in a sense, whatever. So, Yun, sorry, nasabaw lang.
No, you had a good answer though. Because if
But
you didn't
yeah,
give that answer, then we couldn't have segued into yung the other thoughts then. So it's good.
of
It's
course,
good.
of
Yeah.
course.
No, I think
Yeah.
Hindi, tsaka
I
ano
think
rin naman eh.
yeah, go on.
I mean, I agree, yun sa part na yun, kasi parang, hindi, that's, I think that this is why it's good that we defined what a hero is in our own sa simula. So ako
Mhm.
kasi, I'm just jumping off from my definition of what a hero is. And I think, on that end, more of naging generalist ako, in a sense.
Yeah.
Na
Yeah.
it includes the fictional and the non-fictional characters.
Mhm.
So parang, hindi ko naman sinasabi mali ka, that's your perspective, that's your opinion, that's your ano naman. It's just that, at least for me, not for someone like me who has grown up enjoying mga hero, yung mga hero type of storylines. And alam ni Alex yun eh, ako nanonood si Alex. Kaya nga, even up to now, I still try as much as I can to watch Kamen Rider movies, Kamen Rider shows.
Mm.
Kasi,
Mm.
virtues that are not exemplified in current media are still exemplified in kid shows. And
Mm.
sometimes, mas nuanced pa nga yung discussion points nila
Yeah,
than
totoo naman.
than the, di ba, than the adult ones eh. So parang, so for me at least, on my end, it's very, very important, lalo na ngayon, where parents are actually okay showing, Peppa Pig, I guess.
Ay,
As a bad
Oh, that's
example.
another.
sucks. I really hate it. Sorry.
As good examples daw. Meron ako nagsabi ng okay daw siya. Parang okay, sige. So parang it's height parang kailangan natin ibalik yung mga times na kung saan kid shows are exemplifying virtues rather than reality.
Yeah.
Nasa na yung sineskwela, nasa na yung
Mm.
yung mga ganong shows na call me old, but
Just
I miss them.
I think I guess parang
Old.
ano din eh, parang I guess I agree na parang just because it's reality doesn't mean that we have to show it. Just because that's what's happening now doesn't mean na yun yung ipapakita natin and
Yun na dapat.
yun na dapat. This is how it's supposed to be. And that's why I appreciate, like for example, when I watch American shows, and I appreciate shows that yung parang pinopromote nila yung nuclear family. That's sobrang nakakatuwa yun eh. Kasi parang this is a something that a lot of television networks don't show anymore because it's not the reality daw. But because it's not, just because it's not commonly seen doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, 'di ba, parang kailangan maging counterculture in that, I think in that regard. Kaya nga parang like I was saying, like you mentioned Peppa Pig, talagang paano no. Ako kasi talagang napanood ko ng a few episodes of Peppa Pig. And Peppa Pig is always so mean. And she's always parang parang ako, so ganun na ba yung parenting natin? Why can't we have shows like Bluey, for example? I've seen Bluey. And parang napaka-respectful ng characters ng Bluey. They're loving, and it might be difficult to be like that now, but shouldn't that be something that we should be supporting rather than parang supporting what is going on now na hindi naman necessarily good, 'di ba? Just because it's
Ay, meron na tayong topic for the next podcast.
Mm. That's true. Like, yeah, topic for the next podcast. Kids shows nowadays. What are these kid shows like? Let's bookmark that. But yeah.
yeah. So, any final thoughts before we close this session for this evening?
Mm.
Okay na.
Nandate. I don't know. I will say that I wish I had more time. Because I wanted to like dive into the whole but I think we covered it. Like how the energy and expressions of protagonists or POV characters have shifted over time. Yeah, as what you said, I do agree. That at least in Western comics, not so much Eastern. Eastern has always been relatively nuanced, I think, but in Western comics, it's more obvious that they've moved away from your simple, true blue heroism to more like grittier and
Third tier.
multifaceted, complex characters,
Mm.
and that's fine. So, yun lang. Sometimes it feels like the nuances are they're not just nuance, but they veered off into pushing a certain, let's say, ideologies, or they're undergirded by certain ideologies, which kind of lose track of the whole. Hey, there still is actually such a thing as good and evil. There is actually an objective good. Oh, dito na naman magna-nerd out ako kasi apologetics thoughts. But there is objective good
Semantics.
and there is objective evil. There are things that are evil and there are things that are good. So because of the whole how things are depicted, medyo things like that and heroes oriented towards these things, heroes depicting these things, heroes and villains depicting these things kind of get muddled. So that's an interesting thing to know na hey, things are muddled nowadays. And a lot of people like it, but we have to be aware that it's like that. And especially for people who don't have the awareness that things are depicted that way, like kids, for example, that's something to be aware of. So, kailangan i-process siya ng maayos, maturely. Yun lang.
Thanks, John. How about Vince or Vel? Final thoughts?
Okay na ako.
Okay.
Okay na ako. Okay na ako in that.
He has unburdened his heart.
I already
Go, Vel.
unburdened myself. Blah.
Yeah, I think for me, read your Bible, guys, kasi there are a lot of heroes
That's
in God's word. So, all of them obviously inspired by Jesus. And yeah, like you never know how God can use you in your story or in even other people's story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, to add to that, I think lang, naalala ko lang yung Sunday service, si Hosea, hero talaga yun eh. Alam mo yung parang,
Dude.
lahat ng ginawa ng asawa niyang mali, talagang forgive pa din, parang mahalin po pa din, parang my gosh, hero talaga eh.
That is
What a guy.
the interesting thing about Hosea is he's such a real hero in an everyday life thing. Kasi yung pagka-heroism niya, it's like, sure, all of these prophets, they preach God's word. And of course, that's key and core. But
Yeah.
his
Yes.
personal take is basically, I am a husband. And my family is messy.
Yeah.
I am a husband though.
Anyway,
He's a
My
before,
wife
husband.
is
Yeah.
before I share my final thoughts, I'll just read some comments, no? Sabi ni
Sure.
Ninay na panama ka daw, Beans, sa mga sinabi mo kanina.
wow.
Which
Sorry
one?
na.
Tapos sabi ni
Lahat.
Eri, when it comes to heroes, I feel like soldiers and military personnel are also another angle, no? Yep.
Yeah.
Alex says Godzilla is a hero. Ha ha ha. Weh weh.
Godzilla is an anti-hero. Anyway,
Well, actually, if you think of the evolution of Godzilla, he used to be the villain in most of these movies, and then he eventually evolved into the protector
Anti-hero.
type character, diba?
yeah.
No.
So, anyway, Godzilla's a different topic. Let's
Vic
go.
says, I like that you mentioned that
That's
you're. I like that you mentioned that you wish heroes were sincere and not just doing things for show. Also, that you
Yeah.
wish heroes earned their way into becoming heroes and not just because they were already perfect to begin with. Yeah.
Mm.
Sabi ni Eri, I think the world has space for both realistic and idealistic content. Ha ha ha. Hi, Melo. It's Melo. Yui Melo.
What's up, Foxy?
Uy,
Boxer.
Si Boxer.
Anyway.
Been a while, sir.
And Kevin is also online.
Nice. What's up, Kevin?
Eri says, I think it works both ways rin kasi. I think it's good to teach kids not to judge people right away rin kasi. Just because someone does something bad doesn't mean you label them a bad person and vice versa. And I think we agree with that. I think you don't judge the person who's doing that because all of us have made mistakes, all of us have sinned. The judgment here is actually on the sin itself, on the mistake that is made. But dapat ang idea is to restore, to bring people back to Christ, diba? To bring people back to goodness. I mean, not that anyone can really claim goodness, no, but at least, diba, we make a daily and regular effort to become more like Christ. That's what the Bible says anyway. No,
Big
judge the
deal.
sin, not the sinner, isn't an easy concept to pass on. That is true. No.
Mm.
Yep.
Melo says I have no idea what we're talking about. We're talking about heroes. No. That the 2000 series. No, joke. Ayan na naman ako sa joke na yan.
Ay, naman. Okay.
So anyway, I think my final thoughts lang din naman is it's just simple. I think it's inherent in each and every one of us that we want heroes in our lives because they're things that we aspire to. They give us a parang kumbaga we aspire to become like them, but they also give hope that not everything is bad, no, that there is still good in this world, so to speak. And I think that the ultimate hero that we can look up to when it comes to that is Jesus, and that's really a reflection of our desire. No, heroes give hope. No, definitely. Yes, definitely, Kevin. Heroes give hope. That's really the idea. No, kasi if heroes did not give hope, then ano pa point, diba? And I think I also want to touch that. Ako personally, I've always found that the attributes of heroes are something that people aspire to. That's why I also love characters who were villains in the past, but truly found in if the writing is done well, have truly found their way to become heroes, true heroes. I know Vince has mentioned Magneto several times, but I'd like to post two DC characters that I have really enjoyed seeing them grow as characters that were villains and that have transitioned into heroes, anti-heroes, but heroes nonetheless. First is Catwoman. I really like how Catwoman has developed. That's just more than a villain who steals things from the rich. Diba? Parang eventually nakita natin na parang she has realized that her role in the world is also parang she can do a lot of good in her role as Catwoman. Second, it's Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, which is super crazy character. Pero I like the fact na eventually na-realize niya there's something wrong with the things that she's been doing and the man that she was in love with. Alam mo yun,
Then,
parang may realization doon na parang ay mali pala to, no? Merong and there have been conscious efforts in a lot of the stories that have been written about Harley Quinn na parang conscious effort on her part to be good. Even in the story ng Injustice, alam mo yung parang she's an ally of the good guys and she's the one that's parang always looking for a way to make things good, no, of bad situation, which sometimes it's a very good perspective because most of the other heroes in DC don't have that perspective, no, making good of a bad situation.
Yep.
So
That's interesting.
parang ganon. So ako parang nakikita ko talaga na parang these are things heroes give us an idea of what to aspire to. Heroes give, and even villains can turn into heroes, no, if done right, if written well, no, because I find that beautiful because there's redemption. It means that no one is far away enough na hindi sila pwede ma-redeem, no. Gets, no, of course.
Yeah.
Still even us, no, we can be so far from not just even, I'm not even just talking about God's standard, I'm talking about society standard. We can be so far from society standards of what is good, what is morally correct, but in the end we can still be redeemed. May redemption lagi. It doesn't mean it doesn't peg na parang hanggang dito na lang tayo, no, parang who we are. And I really hate the idea kasi ganito talaga ako, no. I really hate the idea because everyone can change and everyone can become better, no, and I think that's why heroes exist, diba? And so with that being said, no, my idea is that if we all really need a hero, and that, at the end of the day it's Jesus. That's it. I mean, yun lang talaga yun. Whether you believe it or not, that's the truth, no. And I guess one way for us to point people to the right to Jesus is through communities that open up for a safe space for us to point people towards the right direction, so to speak, or to the right attributes. And that's why Level Up exists. Wow, yes. Plugging. So, and at the same time,
Segue.
segue. And that's why I think Level Up was created. We wanted to create a safe space so that, we can
true.
better ourselves together. No? And that hindi tayo mag-content na hanggang dito lang tayo. No, that, right? Right, everyone? Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Growth is always easier and more effective in a community.
Amen. So with that being said, if you are interested of finding a community for yourself, or you want to join a community, or you want to refer people to us, we are on Discord. Somebody will link the link of our Discord in the chat
Short.
room. And we are, of course, you can also connect with us on Facebook via our Facebook page, and we also have a Facebook group, Level Up Game Nights. So if you need a community or just looking for someone to talk to or play games with someone, we're here for you. Yes. With
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and hopefully you can join us next time as we talk about more rousing topics in geek culture and Christianity.
And
So
large.
that's it for you guys. Bye bye.
Bye.